Greetings and stalagmites, everyone. Tonight is Motivational Monday, or today is Motivational Monday. Tonight I have two quotes in particular that from one of my favorite shows, The Newsroom. And the quotes in particular are quotes that I rather enjoy. And kind of during the show hit me a little bit, but also just reading them over also makes me think about what those quotes are, what they mean, etc. So the first one, I'll just go ahead and dive straight into it. The first one is spoken by Sloan Sabbath in the show. And the quote is, that's actually part of the title, or the title of this, the title of tonight's episode, A Greater Fool, and it goes over that. The quote is, "The greater fool is actually an economic term. The greater fool is a patsy. For the rest of us to profit, we need a greater fool, someone who will buy long and sell short. Most people spend their lives trying not to be the greater fool. We toss him the hot potato. We dive for his seat when the music stops. The greater fool is someone with the perfect blend of self-delusion and ego to think that he can succeed where others have failed. This whole country was made by greater fools." And I agree with that to some extent. There is a lot of value in believing that you're good enough. There's always something for those who never feel... There's such a thing as being egotistical, but then there's also something in realizing that you are being egotistical. That's kind of how I've looked at life myself, is it falls into that where I believe that I am worth something, but not only just to trick others. That's not the point. There's a value in being egotistical, to some extent, not completely egotistical, but there's also a value in being genuine as well. So it also falls into one of those, don't make it till you break it. Sorry, don't fake it till you make it. Fake it until you are it. So it falls into that as well. And so, for instance, if, say, you're doing support of some sort, or say you're looking to better something for yourself at work, or looking to not maybe even win an argument, something along those lines, or even prove to yourself that you're worth something. Think of what the things are that you can not just benefit from, but think of how, put your best foot forward. So think of your best qualities and shove them out there. And even in your head, if you don't think you're worth enough, whatever the case may be. Think of the best qualities, think of the pros of yourself and in general. And embellish those. Kind of just bring those forward and think those through more so than just going, oh, well, I'll just kind of sit by and do nothing, or whatever the case is. Because there's a lot of value in it. And it's not worth it to put yourself down. And you'll feel better in the end if, for instance, you say, well, or even if you're sticking up for a friend who may have been unjustly accused of something, whatever the case may be. Just try to embellish those good things and don't lie, but be genuine about it. So don't be genuine about lying. Be genuine in general. And things will get better. And there's a lot of profit to be made out of that. Well, not literal profit, but you know what I mean. The second quote I have is said by Will during the show. And it's almost one of the first things he says. The first step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one. So this goes for relationships, this goes for your career, this goes for hobbies, this goes for anything at all. The first step in solving it is realizing there is that problem. So let's say you have an issue with someone, or you got in a fight with someone, or trying to think of what other examples there could be. Let's just take those two. So let's say you got in a fight with someone, or not a physical fight, but a verbal fight. If you want things to get better, the first thing you should do is go back to that person, either after some time has passed or the next day, and apologize and admit that you were wrong, maybe you weren't, maybe you were, but admit that there is a problem and identify it. Identifying and admitting to the problem is a boon to the to making things better. Another example for that would be say things just aren't working out with whatever, let's say at work or whatever. Don't just say, well, things aren't working out. That doesn't tell anybody anything, and it doesn't help anything. It doesn't give anybody any information or any insight as to what's going on. What you should do is not only see the problem, of course, and say, oh, there's a problem. Well, what's the problem? Well, that doesn't, again, find out what the problem is. So from it being you're not communicative enough, you give me too much leeway, you things like that, and then say, well, I have this issue and it's this. And when you admit that problem and you see what that problem is, not only have you admitted the problem, but you've identified the problem and seen what the fact there is one. With all of that, there's a lot of benefit to any conversation, any communication whatsoever with anybody. If you just realize that there's a problem, identify the problem, and admit to the problem, it makes arguments, problems in general, a whole lot better to get over and to work through and gain closure to, perhaps, even in the end. So, but yeah, those are two of my favorite, two of the best quotes that I think were, of the best. There are many good quotes in that show, but they're also good for life as well. So, with that, there isn't too much else to go on today. I'm recording a little late. I got caught up in some network issues, but other than that, I hope you all have a great Tuesday, and tomorrow is TMI Tuesday, but yes, remember those two quotes. Remember that this whole country was created by greater fools. So whenever you think about getting down on yourself and that you're not worth anything, think of trying to be a greater fool and selling the idea that, but not selling, because selling generally implies that there may be some sort of fake persona perhaps to it, but genuinely pick out the good things, pick out the benefits, pick out the qualities, the good qualities that you or whatever you're fighting for has, and go for it. Don't just sit back and let things happen. Go for it. As well as for the first step in solving The first step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one. Both of these quotes are about you being the initiator, you being the proactive person, because sometimes life just doesn't come for you. Things don't just come to you. You have to fight for something. But that's going to be it. And until next time, good night and good luck.